Hello everyone, I am in the wrong place. Not sure how that happened, but here we are. But this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. I am now inside of it. Okay, so today I'm going to continue rigging Shalom for Paths to Nowhere. So yesterday, I finished all the hair, so now it's time to do the shadows on the hair. Once again, I almost forgot them until I was looking around this morning. I was figuring, oh yes, it is time to do the right head turn. And then I realized, oh wait, I have not put the shadows on. I should do that. That sounds very important. So yes, today is the day I put in the shadows. And because I moved some stuff on the left head turn so much, I am actually going to be starting there. Figure I should get things right here before I start working on the quarters again. It's been a while since I forgot to reposition myself properly there. Always funny when that happens. See, this is why I always check things before stream starts. But today I got a little bit lazy about it. I was complacent. And thus I ended up in space. It happens sometimes. Alright. So things really only moved over here on the left side of her face, so there's not too much to adjust here. I think all the rest still look pretty nice. Gonna go ahead and check this up against here. Not bad. I do think that the front bang is sticking out just a touch too much. But I actually like that. It's goes a little bit further away from her bangs. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Nice and straightforward, since I still have all the other parts roughly the same. I think over here might be sticking out just a little bit too much. I don't think I actually changed anything over there. I'm just changing my mind, but I am allowed to do that. I can change my mind as many times as I want, as long as while I'm drawing things. Or rigging things, as the case may be. Okay, and now that those shadows are looking pretty good, I can get started on the shadows on the lower left. And they should match up nicely. Let me check the downward turn, since I did change some things here too. Okay, yes, I clearly did change some things. Either that or my mind again. You know, one or the other. But either way, I think the shadows around here are a bit too much. I really do like that expression, though. Gets me every time. I think it's pretty fantastic. Okay, and by checking the lower turn and the left turn, what goes in the interpolation for the lower left should be more accurate than it would be otherwise, so hopefully that means less work for me. I think I still have the shadow of the front bang going a little bit too far away. Oh, I started reading a new comic today. It's one that I see recommended a lot, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Only read, like, chapter 0. Looks pretty cool so far. The concept seems neat, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And at the same time, I'm also reading Kubera. I have a desktop computer that I do most of my stuff on, but when I go and watch my kids, I'm often on my laptop, and I don't like reading the same thing on different computers because it's too annoying to sync my progress with both of them. So I just read 2 separate ones. So those are the 2 that I'm reading right now. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint and Kubera. Pretty far into Kubera. I think I'm on like chapter 500 something. I really want to like it. It has so many neat ideas, but oh man, it has a just absolutely massive ensemble cast. And I think the writer loses control of the story sometimes. How do I explain this? So it seems like the author has lots and lots of ideas. A lot of them are genuinely cool. That's why I've been able to read it for 500 chapters. But sometimes it feels like reading Arknight's writing, in that things kind of drag sometimes. Like, the current arc that I'm reading involves a couple of characters going to the past, and for a while it was kind of cool seeing a bunch of stuff that was hinted at earlier, and seeing some of the stuff that was happening during those time periods. But I also think that the author just wants to show off all of their cool world building, and while it is very cool, it's kind of going into details that aren't super relevant to the story sometimes, or at least it feels that way to me. It's like I haven't finished it, of course, but I'm not actually sure if it is finished. And it's just kind of unfortunate. They want to show off all the cool things that it's in their head, but it's just not super relevant to what's actually happening. Yes, it just reminds me of something that I was thinking about while I was playing Disco Elysium, like, an eternity ago. Where, on their blog, they talked about having, thousands of years of history, and all this stuff that they thought enriched the world and made it feel more real. But I don't actually think those things help world building that much. I really don't. Especially when you're using that world to tell a story instead of having it be a sandbox that other people do stuff in, like what you might expect from a tabletop role-playing game setting. That you might need some richer details, more random stuff, so that this way people can tell the stories that they want to tell as opposed to the ones you're telling. But when you're telling the story yourself, and it's supposed to be, cohesive and finished, all those things, and you're not doing it so people can effectively make their own lore, fanfiction aside. Like, I think it's fine to think about it sometimes. That's totally fine. If that's where your mind goes, indulge it. Some of those ideas might make it into your story, but you have to be okay with them not making it into the story, I think. Because otherwise, you just go forever and ever. And you lose track of what's going on. You're just like, oh, I want to do this one particular scene. I don't know how to work it into the story, but the idea is so cool, I want to do it. And I don't think such things necessarily serve the story well. I do not have something on her shirt clipped properly. I will worry about that later. Okay. Well, yes, I don't actually think that having a lot of those details necessarily enriches your setting, especially if you're not okay with just never letting your reader see it. Like, if it's stuff that you're putting together in your head to help you write stuff better, and the reader will never know about it unless they read some extended universe lore on your blog or something. And that's fine. I think that probably would help. But if you're going to insist on putting it into the story, you're just going to bloat your story. And at that point, it probably actually harms it more than helps it. So just an interesting thing that I've been thinking about while reading Kubera. If you can tolerate all the pacing issues, I do think it's pretty good, though. But the pacing issues are real. But still, it's good enough that I still read over 500 chapters of it. Been having a good time with that story overall. And I'm really looking forward to reading Omniscient Reader since I've seen it discussed so many times. I've managed to avoid spoilers, so I just see it recommended a lot, so looking forward to that. Been reading many a comic lately, and it's been a pretty good time overall. I do enjoy them lots. Alright, just wasn't quite satisfied with the tips of the bangs there, so I figured I'd touch them up just a little bit. This shadow underneath here was not working out for me once I put the shadows underneath on, and it became a little bit more visible. Like, to be fair, the front bang tips do kind of blend in with her face until those shadows come in, so I just may not have noticed them super well while I was working on everything else because of that. It's okay, this is why we check everything with all the layers on at the end. Make sure that there's nothing I missed. Still feel like the shadow on the tip of the bang here is going upward. Let's see if the mesh has any good ideas here. What's going on here, friend? Really doesn't seem like it should be that bad. I'm not sure what's wrong. How odd. Well, let's try shoving some more vertices downward and see if that helps. When in doubt, try something and see what happens. It's like right front and center of her face, so I kinda want to spend some time to get it right. And that did help, so it tells me that perhaps I am on the right track. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit here so I can see a little bit more clearly with my intense staring, but yes, indeed. Some of these tips are getting longer. So that's probably what's bothering me somewhat here. Well, it looks like the shadow's a little bit long too. So I'll go try to shove those back into place. And then hopefully all will be well. Alright, I think I need to adjust the shadow a little bit accordingly, since I was matching it up to where the tips were before, and now they're in slightly different places, so it makes sense that I have to move them just a little bit there. I want to keep them a little bit lower than they are in the normal neutral head turn here. I think it makes her look more ominous. I do like making Shalom look as ominous as I can. Yeah, there we go. I think that's better. Okay, now I can go over here and take care of the shadows here. Because, boy, do they need to be taken care of. Let's go. Interpolation, not on my side today. That's alright. The shadows are pretty easy to move, so I don't mind. Oh yeah, we're gonna get some nice shadows covering that eye there. Gonna look super ominous. So excited. I've been drawing an original character of mine now that I'm done with Christmas gifts. And indeed, I am making her look very ominous too. I just like making people look ominous. It's fun. You're just not like explicitly insane or kind of evil looking, but just kind of vaguely creepy. I think that's my favorite. A lot of ideas that I've had for drawings are definitely more in the ominous category than anything else. Alright, I think this one might be sticking out just a little bit too much there. And I think I want a little bit more from this bang to be showing as well. And my nose is just extremely itchy today for some reason. I don't know why that happens sometimes. It's very strange. Alright, let's get that shadow out here. And then I guess for the bit from this, I should actually use this layer for it. So I have a little bit more control when it comes time to put the physics on. Why is it so hard right there? Did I mesh this wrong? If this is meshed with a part of it not within the... Yeah, okay, so this part was cut off here. That I actually do have to fix. Doesn't matter if I wanted to use the same mesh as the strand itself. I need to make sure that the entire thing, including the feathering of the edges, that kind of makes it blend into the rest of her skin. Oh, that needs to be on there. And if it's not inside, it just gets cut off and looks ugly. Okay, so did that help? Yes. Okay. We're good. Just a small mesh problem. Surprised it took me that long to notice this. It's fine. Okay. So there's the head shadows. Now let's check the body shadows. I don't think I changed very much in a lot of these places, but I should still check them. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking at the shadows right over here, and that's fine. Now I'll keep going and get these ones over here. Yeah, I think all these are fine. How about down here? Are these fine? Need to adjust the very bottom of the hips here. The bottom of the claw. Just looks like little crab pinchers to me. And thus I have dubbed it the claw. Is this one not clipping properly? Do I not have... I would expect that's just the chest layer, right? Because you can see it looks like it's cut off right there. Am I crazy? Let me... Which one are you? Right there. Okay, no, it's fine. That's just what it looks like. That's just a shadow on her sleeve. Okay, so no, all is well. We are good. Get this little guy on there. Not entirely satisfied with how it is here, so go ahead and just adjust that very slightly. Okay. I think that's body shadows. So that's everything. The lower left turret is done. Unless I decide at the end I don't like it anymore and I want to fix it up again like I do with the upper. But first, let's go ahead and do the lower right. I want to go ahead and get this guy done first. Okay, so time to think about where I want all the hair to go. And if I'm satisfied with this turn, because I'm not entirely sure if I am. Because it's like when I look right here, I don't know, it looks a little bit flat. So I'm thinking about floofing it out just a bit. Yeah, I still don't like this here. So let's just think about this for a second. Gonna move that out just a little bit there. Get the part of her hair, or you know, the roots, to move to the side just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the hair shadows for the time being, just so that they don't distract me. Because I do find them a little bit distracting while I'm working. His hair is moving around a lot, and the shadows don't follow, and it squirms. And it's annoying. So I'll save them for the end. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the right turn and the lower right turn together. I don't know if I've done any hair mesh group work here. I have. Let's not. Since I'm adjusting it up here, I wanted to follow this one for the time being, and then I will adjust the details after I know I have the hair mesh group where I want it here. So I'm gonna floof out some stuff right around here. Do what I can with the mesh group, and afterward I'll just go and edit it manually. I don't think there's any point in going into the lower left, or lower right, excuse me, when I'm not satisfied with the right. So this time I'm not going to worry about making everything look nice and smooth. I'm just going to focus on getting everything into place. And from there, I will worry about getting everything smooth at the end, much like I did with the lower left turn. I think that method worked better, so I'm going to try it again here. And I already have some ideas for things I want to try in my next rig, where I work on, like, all the angles more at once. And leave things messy until they're all kind of roughly looking okay. That's something I want to try next time I decide to do a rig like this. I think it might make a little bit more sense. And once again, I'm going to start hiding strands while I work on getting everything about just the main bulk of her hair looking good. The loose strands can come at the end. They do make the hair look nicer and fuller, and I appreciate their existence. But I gotta do one thing at a time here. If I try to focus on too much at once, I'm just gonna get overwhelmed by it all. Fortunately, on the right turn here, I think this side looks pretty good. It's really only over here and the way it got kind of compacted that I don't think looks very good. So I'm going to try to fix that up a little bit. And then work on the lower left once it's closer to the way I want it to be. I think I will have less to move around if I do it in that order. Because that means, in theory, the interpolation should help me out a little bit and get something a little bit more accurate down here once the right is looking a little bit more the way I want it to. For that, we gotta make some hair floof. It's so fluffy. It'd be wonderful. Okay, and I do think that is looking a little bit better. I just didn't like how flat all of this looked, but now it's looking a little bit more round and dimensional. Not like her hair is made out of paper, and I'm just lightly rotating it here. It's more like her hair has actual physical weight and is sitting on top of her head, which is also spherical. And I think that looks much better. Yeah, I think that should look pretty good once I clean up some of the lines. I think right here is maybe sticking out a little bit too much. Tells me that this shadow underneath it just needs to be in a little bit of a different spot. I think it's mostly that one that needs to change. And probably right through here too. Round this out just a little bit here. It's been a while since I've had to worry about the three-dimensionality of that side. Like on this side, it's like free. I just have it go and it looks great. But over here, it gets all compressed, so I kind of have to think about it a little bit more. Never be afraid of thinking, friends. Your brain is your friend. No matter how silly it gets, no matter how much it complains, use it. It's what it's there for. Okay, so let's floof this up a bit here. Yeah, I still really do think that this side looks pretty good. I might have some things I need to touch up, like over in this corner or something. But, just in terms of how things are moving around. Nah, I think that side... I think I got it right on that side. Yeah, I even threw all the complex texturing through over here. Looks pretty good, I think. I might need to adjust the side bang just a little bit. Got just a teeny tiny bit of stretching to it. But it's so subtle, I could probably leave it just like that and it'd be fine, but... You know, if I see the problem, why not fix it? That didn't take much effort at all, and it's already better. Okay, but I should go back into the side that actually has problems. I want to show a little bit more of the shadow here, but I think right now it's showing too much. And I think it's causing problems. So let's adjust accordingly. Yep, I think that's a little bit better. Finding the right amount of floof for this strand is always tricky, because, at least to me, it really does look like it just comes up and just kind of gently sits right here. As opposed to, like, this one here, which has this part where it comes out of the roots and then, like, flops over itself. So here it just looks more gentle, but if I don't make it round enough, everything looks flat. So it's quite a dilemma. Quite the dilemma indeed. Kind of the same here, where this one does have a little bit more of an underneath part, like right through here, but it still just kind of gently flops through here. So I don't want it to stick out too much, and I also want it to look like it's going further into the back. Like if you... Let me make her head turn one more time. If you look at the various layers of hair here, I have this one, and this one. These are 3 separate layers of hair. And as it turns back, you can see that the first one goes away completely. It gets completely hidden. And this one gets like halfway hidden. So figuring out how much it should stick out is tricky. Especially since I kept it connected to this strand that goes all the way through here. Well, I just have to figure out the right balance of floof here. At the very least, I do have this little highlight to kind of help me out, because I do think that it looks a little bit better when that highlight is showing. Kind of helps separate it from the layers further behind. Alright, so far so good. I think that actually looks pretty okay, especially once I straighten things up through there. I can do a little bit of that straightening now, but I don't plan to get it just right for the time being. I want to save that for the end. That is good enough. Okay. Kind of like here, I see that some of the strand is just sticking through here when it shouldn't be. But I don't really see any reason to fix it for the time being. If it starts bothering me too much, I might, but it's not right now, so it can stay. It can stay just like that. Sticking out, looking weird. It's all good. Everything will get cleaned up later. And it'll be fine. But I do think things are looking better than before. And I think letting this part, like having this part come out a little bit more, and then have it drape a little bit more gently as it goes down, is a good way to kind of get that feeling of the gentle hair drape, while still keeping it not super flat looking. Let's see how I feel about it tomorrow. I get the feeling that's gonna be something I go back and forth on quite a lot. Just because it's a tough balance. It really is. But I do think I have this good enough to get started on the lower left here. Or lower right, yes. Look, I swear I know the difference between my left and right, okay? I promise. I will definitely mess it up a lot, though. Okay. Yeah, I think things are looking a little bit rounder through here. More like it's sitting on her head rather than just being super flat. Especially around these highlights where there's a little bit of a lump there. And this comes off and I think it should be okay. Again, I'll see how I feel about it tomorrow, but for now, I'm gonna start working on getting, like, the part of her hair, all that good stuff, where it should be. My goodness. Okay. When I went down to the checking the lower left here, if you look at this part right here, where the shadow kind of comes out and you have these little splotches of color in the highlight, watch it shrink. Yep. It looks very silly. And it happens up here too, so I want to adjust that a little bit before I move on. Here I am finding problems already. My future self definitely would not have been satisfied. Even my present self is finding problems, oh no! My present self isn't nearly as picky as my future self. Terrifying. Oh, one thing that might also make the way this hair drapes a little bit more gentle is making this a little bit flatter through here. I think I might want to show more of that shadow if I do this. But it doesn't need to come out quite as strongly. It's just being gently draped over. And it doesn't need to be pretty yet, but I want it to be at least somewhat accurate. So I want the general idea to be in place. It can just be a little bit crunchy or warped or show random little spots of her skull right there, I guess. It's fine. It's totally fine for now. Those things will get patched up. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to share this yesterday. I've decided to start trying to learn Japanese again, so I can talk to people on Pixiv. I've been getting a little bit of attention over there, so I thought it'd be nice to actually be able to talk to the people there and understand what's going on. So I've been brushing up on my kana for the time being. I haven't practiced it for a while, so I'm a little bit rusty, but my hiragana is still pretty good. My katakana was never good. I only had maybe half that memorized. Probably a bit less than that. But I'm getting better. That's been my study focus for the time being. Just I do a little bit of grammar and vocabulary, and other than that, I'm just making sure that I know my letters. There's a lot to go through. 2 alphabets and some other miscellaneous stuff. Especially some of the miscellaneous stuff to help with foreign words. Alright, I feel like I'm getting somewhere here. There we go. That highlight was just sliding down a bit, so I figured I'd lift it back up. Hopefully get it back up to where it belongs. There we go. Okay, and I actually think it's showing a pretty good amount of shadow underneath, too. I don't think I really need to show any more than that. Maybe just a teeny tiny bit at the very top. There we go. That should be plenty. And there we go. Okay, cool. Looking much better. Now I just want to adjust a few more little parts at the top there. And I think that should be pretty alright. I think it's looking more three-dimensional than it was. If only I could adjust the very bottom here and kind of make it go further back. I'm not sure if I can. Let me see. It's not as bad as it could be. The thing is that I don't want this to be on top of this at all. So it's like I am going to have to hide the stuff over here. Honestly, I'm surprised that it got put on top in my layer order when I was drawing this. But I wasn't really thinking about it that hard at the time, so that's probably how it happened. Can I get away with, like... It's like we fluff out on one end. And then, like, push back here on the other. I'll have to figure out what to do with this little corner, but I want to see if that kind of gives me the effect that I was hoping for. Probably about as good as I'll get. I'll see if I can get it a little bit better when it comes time to clean things up, but I think this is fine for now. I do want to adjust the top of those little strands here, though. Okay. So we'll see what I can accomplish with that when the time comes. And then there's like this little red spot here that I just need to bring back out. He got tucked a little bit too hard. There we go. Now it's visible out there and should look a little bit better. Maybe a little bit more of it needs to show. As you can see, there's like this little spot right here, and that's what I'm looking at. It looks a little bit weird right now when I bring it over here. Like it's just going a little bit too far. I don't think the way it is now is entirely inaccurate, but I think it just feels and looks a little bit off. So that's what's making me try to bring it back in. But it's also connected to these strands over here, so that might be as much as I can do if I want to keep that kind of movement on those strands. And I probably do. So yeah, I think the rest of that will be for cleanup. How are we doing down here? Right, because that's what made me want to go back and revisit this in the first place. Is because I thought this strand looked a bit weird when I brought it over. I don't have any specific changes here, do I? Shadows. Yes, okay. So yeah, I have nothing there right now. So this is all interpolation. I still feel like this looks a little bit weird, but it looks okay from here to here. So I'm gonna call that something that I just have to fix on this layer, and that's okay. Okay, so from here, I still want to make sure that those roots are moving over a little bit. If anything, they should be a little bit further to the side than even they are up here in the right head turn. So probably just a little bit more on the bottom here. Just a tiny bit. Don't want to overdo it. In fact, that looks like it was overdoing it a little. Because it looks like the bottom here is sliding. So I'll go ahead and bring this back just a little bit. And the rest I think can be corrected via the actual layers. Because I think this is mostly in the right spot. It's just kind of... There's a... Whoa, there. Couple of little angles right through here that I don't think is quite right. But I think that probably fixed a lot of it. Indeed. Okay. Still have a little bit more to fix there. Let's go ahead and do it right now. I think I still have some more playing around with the mesh group to do, but, you know, if I see a problem that I don't plan to fix via the mesh group, why not just kind of lightly adjust it now? Don't mind the crunchiness. That'll be fixed later. Gotta do things one step at a time. And the current step is just kind of getting the general gist of where everything's gonna go. I think I'm gonna hide the strand for a little bit here. Okay, this is, I don't think, something I can fix with the mesh group, but we'll go ahead and try to see some shenanigans on the front bang here. I think that movement I did with the mesh group was fine, so let's go ahead and start adjusting the front bang here. So I guess the next couple of days we'll be adjusting all the big details on the hair here, and then I'll go back and clean it all up, much like I did with the lower left. I actually still think this side looks pretty okay. But I guess what I really should be checking is how things look around this diagonal here. I don't feel like her head is shrinking, at least. It's just moving down. So far, so good. Yeah, other than this part here is actually not looking too bad. So I guess all of this is coming together decently well. Oh, that makes me happy. Always a bit nerve-wracking starting something new. I was starting a new picture yesterday, and it always stresses me out so much. Everything looks so bad at first, and it's just like, blah. And having a little bit of a hard time with the pose here. But I think I know what I have to do. And I am recording it, so when I finish it, you guys will have a nice little speed paint to watch. Or I guess for this, it's not technically a speed paint, it's just a drawing time lapse. Alright, I think this is a solid start. So tomorrow I will continue making the lower left look nice. And we'll just get everything into place and eventually clean it up. But I think this is where I will end for today. So thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.